because people resonated with your story of the struggles that you had to go through, that you worked for free. And I think there was a shocking value there when you said, oh yeah, I used to sell my blood,
Yeah.
just to be able to pay for my school, just to get that education. And then you talked about your transition here in the US.
Also, I'm a prolific inventor in this chess. I have around 20, I think I have a total of 21 patents applied, and I got, I believe, like 10 of them approved and 11 is in progress.
So, before we begin, I'd like you to introduce yourself so that people who are watching know a little bit about you before we dive into the actual discussion.
Hey, my name is Kumar Krishnagi. I work for JP Morgan Chase as a senior principal engineer. In my daily job, I'm part of the digital authentication space. I'm responsible for all this logging, protecting the firm, etc., etc. And also, I'm a prolific inventor in this chess. I have around 20, I think I have a total of 21 patents applied, and I got, I believe, like 10 of them approved and 11 is in progress.
That's amazing, but I am not gonna dive into that yet.
Okay.
So, what we're gonna do right now is just a recap in case people are watching us for the first time. This is our second podcast, a video
Right.
podcast.
Right.
We already met before, and I think that was already a year ago.
Yes.
And in that video, we talked about your journey from India coming here, and it's actually very well watched because people resonated with your story of the struggles that you had to go through, that you worked for free. And I think there was a shocking value there when you said, oh yeah, I used to sell my blood, just
Yeah.
to be able to pay for my school, just to get that education. And then you talked about your transition here in the US. You got here, you didn't have any money. It resonated with a lot of people and it was very deep. And I remember at one point I had to stop because I was getting
Correct. Yeah.
emotional listening to your story. Even if I've already heard it before, it's just different, Every time you hear it, there's a different layer to who you are and what you are. So briefly tell us what has happened in that year since we last spoke.
Yeah, so I think, thank you for doing that. So a lot of people reached out, you posted in LinkedIn, and a lot of people and reached out and told me, hey, this is a true inspiration for us. And, it's really not only, it's not like Kumar's story. It's like most of the people coming outside of this country, it's not very easy to get in, right? You have to go through this process, that process. You have to have a education, you have to have experience, you have to go to embassy to get this approved. It is like it's like, how do I say, it's like a scary every day going to this embassy, waiting in the line. Do I get it or not? Do I get it or not? It's like that. And same thing, like every time when you are in visa, when you enter this country, you will say, is this the broader protection is going to let me in or not? My wife is in this country now. I went out India, I came back. It's like it's not my story. It's like all the people who are migrated to this country, that's their story. So it's like it's a lot of people reached out and say, hey, this is thanks. And it's also motivated a lot of people. I got a ping saying that, okay, this is a true story and it's an amazing story. It really made me motivated. Even though I'm not in US, I'm in here in India, I'm struggling here and there, and but this story is really helped me that don't give up. That's the message I got.
That's really good. And there are so many layers into what you just said right there. And maybe we will have that for another session when we talk about what the different things that it brings to you, like the emotions, the mentality, how it affects you psychologically, that journey of going through that different processes, because it affects how Asian immigrants are once they come here.
Right.
Because the long wait, that anxiety of will it get approved or not? the process, there's so many things that it brings, and then it molds you, and sometimes people cannot break away from it. They continue to live that journey,
Right.
that weight, that anxiety, even if, hey, you're already here, you're fine, just keep going. But they cannot break from that chain of anxiety. But that would be for our maybe future
Okay.
podcast, because this is gonna happen more, because people love you. You're very inspiring. You have that story, which leads me to when you described, when you introduced yourself, you said, I'm a prolific inventor. I have 10 patents already approved and 11 in the process,
Yes.
or something like that. Yeah. So tell me about that. Well, let's start with, how did you get there?
So before going there, I want to tell about my college where I was, right? I'm a kind of I studied in non-English medium. I studied in Tamil medium in part of this India South. And I came from lower middle class. Like if you look at a lot of people, they go to the private school in India. Most of the people, private school, they will teach you English starting from kindergarten. So I did not go there. I started in Tamil medium. I was there in Tamil medium up to the 12th grade. So I worked very hard to get into my engineering seat, which we already talked about it. Once I got the engineering seat, I went to the college, in Indian engineering college. The language is 100% English. So when I was there, I cannot even understand what the professor is saying. So I was always sit in the back, and the professor asked me some question. I have no clue, because I didn't study in English medium. So it took a long time for me to catch up. I had a lot of paper earlier, so I failed on many subjects. And my professor come and told me, there is no way you're going to pass engineering. Okay, so I did not take that. So I worked very hard. Okay, I clear all the papers, and within 4 years, I'm able to graduate with like 70%. So it is surprise to a lot of people, including my friends over there, because I did not listen. Okay, these guys are saying I cannot do it. I say, no, but I will do it. Okay, so my friends may be getting like 80%. I may not be getting 80%, but I can get in 70%. So that was my college story. That's what I always say. People, hey, I'm a last bench student. I'm not the first bench student. In India, when you say first bench student, means they are like very good in studying. They are like toppers. If you go to one bench back, these are people not very good at studying. So that's what I came. Okay, but the working is totally different. Whatever I studied is it gave me opportunity, right, to understand the basics things and all. But when I started working, it's totally different. That's what I tell people. Whatever you study in book is totally different than how you do it. For example, when you want to ride a motorcycle, for example, they will say, hey, you've watched YouTube video, whatever it is. They say, okay, this is the clutch, this is how you ride. But when you go really do it, it's totally a different experience. Okay, that's what I tell people. Don't think that you cannot do it. Okay, I can compete with anybody, right, in technology wise, because I put that hard work. Okay, I put that hard work. So I always put the hard work. So one of the things really helped me is I don't think that the issue is like this narrow vision. If there is a problem, okay, for example, somebody having a problem on solving one issue, which I will give an example, I will look at it broader view. Okay, how many people having this problem? Okay, if I solve this problem, is it going to help one person or is it going to help 100%? That's what motivated me. That's how I got into this so many patterns. So just think broader. Okay, in this example, I'm going to give you a simple example how I started my journey. Okay, so if you look at in the old ways, when you connect to a database, you have to hard code the user ID and password in your application. That's how you connect. Okay, that's a old way of doing it. Nowadays, we don't allow that. We say that you have to connect through token-based authentication, Kerberos authentication, passwordless authentication. We want to do that. That's what come to our company. But doing that, we have so many applications. A lot of them are legacy applications. Okay, hundreds of applications. We want to connect to the database. Previously used to use ready password. Now, it's like cybers and all these things. It's not a good way to do it. So we want to connect with passwordless authentication like Kerberos token-based authentication. I looked at so many applications. It's a legacy application. Everybody has to make a change to make this happen. We have so many vendor applications. We went to the vendor, hey, we want these changes. They said, okay, give $500,000, wait in the line. That's what the problem is. So what I have done is I created something called smart driver. Okay. If you go into my LinkedIn profile, you can see that pattern, which is approved pattern. What will do is it sits top of your application, okay, and forces your application to connect to token-based authentication, passwordless authentication. As technically, you don't need to make any changes to your application whatsoever. Once I did that, it solved hundreds of applications. People don't need to make any changes. A lot of people surprised. And, one of the team member came back, and when we presented to cyber, they said, hey, you need to apply for patent first. I have no clue what about patent is, but anyway, I took their advice and then I just applied that patent. Then, it went through. So that's what I started this journey. After I started the journey, people say, okay, I had so many of these ideas, so many of things I solve for the business, which is not one person problem, right? It is everybody's problem. The way we did it, okay, like without making a code change to your application. That's the key. The way we did it is a key, and how we implemented is the key. So that's what we applied for the patent. Then, we got it approved.
So what you're saying is, if they think about it, like on a broader scale of how many people are going to be affected by this, or what problem can I solve, that is what triggered you.
Correct.
And the other thing that I picked up from that is you said you didn't even know that you can apply for a patent, and somebody told you you should apply for a patent. So, and then other people said, well, I also have all these things. Can I just apply for a patent? So what would you tell them then?
So the advice I got is, and I'm going to take this example of this cup, right? This is what they gave me. This is a cup. This cup can hold water. This cup can hold coffee. It can hold anything. Somebody already patented it. Okay. Somebody put a cover top of this. Okay. Now they say a cup has a cover. Somebody patented. Now this cup has a handler. Somebody patented. It's not like this cup. All the surrounding cups also can be patented. You can put a cup upside down, saying that, okay, you can drink that coffee like this. You can patent it, because the patent is nothing but somebody's never done this before, and you are the first one to do that. Okay. It's expensive process. Okay. I mean, it takes a lot of money to apply for it, but it's really, really worth it. So in my other examples, right, mobile driving license. I know a lot of people doesn't know that mobile driving license is coming into US. I believe only 3 or 4 states currently offer that. So the thought process is, the product came and asked me, hey, this is coming, how can we use it? Okay. So I came up with a smart idea. How do we use this mobile driving license to authenticate authorized people? And how do we use that key to help other business, part of the business? So that, again, we applied for the patent. Currently it is pending. So you have to look at it broader mindset. You have to look at the problem and see how it's going to help others. If I had this narrow mindset, I would have figured out, I could have not achieved all these things. It's all you have to do is think big.
So is it possible that I have a lot of ideas, but I don't know if I can patent it or not? So what do? Do I just randomly ask, oh, can I patent this? Or how do you go through that process of thinking, what can I patent and what can I not?
So first thing is, if you have an idea, okay, so just think about it. Okay, what is this idea? Second thing is, go and Google it and see if this idea is ever implemented. Even if you Google it, if somebody says it's implemented, and look at it the way they implement it. So look at that, the way they implement it, the way you are implementing is totally different. It's all the different problem altogether. You should apply for patent. It's really worth it.
Do you have a process for yourself? How do you go through this? How do you become creative? Share us some tips on how we can become an inventor.
So how you become inventor? So as I mentioned, okay, recent project. So all my ideas, again, it's all coming through the problem which is currently exist on my company. So I look at it in a broader way. As I explain, okay, how do we do this? So that's what you have to think about it. That's an example. My teammates and these patents are owned by my company. Can I jokingly tell people that, hey, I spend my company $1 million of my company's money? They will say, what do you do? I said, I applied all these patents. Yeah, again, this is a great company. I love this company. By the way, they take it innovation is very serious. And I know that in 2024 itself, the company spends like $17 billion just for IT.
That's amazing. Like, and to be part of it, right?
Yes, part of it.
Yeah, to be part of that. So if I am someone who has no clue, like I am a software engineer, I am in a tech world, but I have no clue. I want to be an inventor, but I don't know where to start. What would you tell me?
The same answer. Think big, okay? There are so many problems are there. You can always think about the problem and look at it, okay, how do I solve this problem? As long as you have that mindset, you will be an inventor.
And then what's next?
So once you do that, again, you go and research how you do this implementation, make sure that, nobody implemented the way you are thinking of implementation. Just to proof of concept, if everything works out, hire an attorney and, apply for the patent. I know a lot of people, okay? I have a lot of people. They have some ideas. I told them, dude, look at this way. You just enhance it, right? Just enhance it, what is doing it, and just spend some money. Luckily, I don't need to pay because my company is doing that for me. If you have some great idea, you are working for your own company, whatever it is, just think about it. Go ahead and spend that $10,000, whatever it is. And it's really going to be worth it. That's going to be millions of dollars.
You said research. So now that you have an idea, and then you said research and find out more about it and test it. Tell me stories about your experience in how do you research? What experiences have you gone through? Like, how does it look like?
So how do it looks like? So again, we are implementing, again, this is a patent pending in my company. You can go and look it into my LinkedIn. It's called enabling AML on the login, digital login flow. Okay. So there we have to implement, for example, right now AML is playing a big role. So the company is losing a lot of money on the fraudulent activities. For example, somebody takes your user ID password, they're trying to log in, there are so many things happening. So we have that model, machine learning model sits behind the system, and it predicts whether this really Leah or not, using all this machine learning algorithm, your pattern. We have a training, we had so many data to confirm that you are right. Then we integrated such a way that we thought it is really going to be patternable. Okay, I can 100% guaranteed I will. Okay, I won't say 100%. 95% guaranteed that pattern is going to be get granted, because I looked at all those places, other companies. Are they doing this? Or they have this kind of concept, that kind of concept? I don't think it's there. Okay, so that's how I applied for that pattern. Again, that is also publicly available in my LinkedIn. You can go and take a look at it. So the point here is, try to see anything you work on is patternable, as long as you give a broader view and research, okay, and try it out. Again, when I apply for that pattern, I did a lot of research on whether anybody's did this before, the way we implemented. We don't want to have any latencies. We spend a lot of things out there.
You said you had to check if someone else is doing this before and all that. So where do you go to research?
I think everything is in Google, and also there is a pattern. Again, sorry, I'm mentioning my LinkedIn profile again. If you go to the LinkedIn profile, there is a patterns links are there. So you go in the pattern office and you can search, okay, this pattern is exist. Even that pattern is exist, and see how they're implemented it. So all the things we are talking about here is publicly available.
Okay. How long does it take you? Research, like from the time you have an idea, and then you research, and then you apply from the time you have an idea until you apply for the patent, that research phase, how long does that take you?
it will take a couple of weeks for sure.
Okay.
So you want to be make sure that, right, when you apply for patent, okay, there are, what I hear is like 50 to 60% of patents, when you apply, it will be get rejected, because the patent office takes almost 2 years to 3 years, okay, to get your patent. Okay, they will do a lot of research. If you get patent is approved, because the government is doing this, right? The government office is doing this, so they are liable. Okay, for example, Leah has a patent. Okay, I have applied the same idea, same concept. I apply for the patent. If both people get patent, the government is in trouble, right? They are the one doing that. So they do a lot of research, and they go through that. They will look at end to end. It takes 2.5 years to 3 years to get one patent granted. So that's what you have to do. You have to be very careful on your research. You don't want to waste your money, because I don't want to do the same thing what is Leah already done, right? You done, and I cannot apply for the patent. I can apply, they're going to reject it. So the research is going to be very important.
Why did you say that it cost money?
It's all about lawyer fees, legal fees. It's a lot of legal fees. So what I hear from my company is, to get one patent, again, I'm working for the big company, they have big lawyer groups and all, it almost take like $50,000 to get one patent approved.
Why would I do that? Why would I spend $50,000 to get my patent approved?
That's a very good question. So I will give in a very, very simple example. Everybody uses it, right? Everybody uses Uber now in this world. Okay, just think about it. That concept is very simple. The concept is very simple. You don't need to have a proven that, hey, I am able to make it work. That's what I'm applying patent. So Uber is a very simple idea. Okay, so somebody is in the top, okay, and getting all the drivers, right? Anybody want to do Uber, and they will, first thing what they do is they will validate it. Is that guy is good guy or a bad guy? This guy is good. All they're doing is this service. They're giving this app. Using that app, I can go anywhere I want. It's cheaper. It's a simple thing. If you have that patent, that will be billions of dollars. Just think about it.
So it's almost like an investment.
It's like investment. Yeah.
So before other people can use the idea that you patented, they will have to pay you.
Right. They have to pay me. If that is mine, they have to come and tell me, I want to use this. I'm going to pay you. Same thing, Zelle payment, right? It's a very simple concept. There is nothing. So you register with your phone and you register your email. That's it. The bank knows how you do that. Very simple concept. I always people to don't look at that $5,000, $10,000. Maybe, if you apply individually, it will be cheaper. But think about that. It's going to have a lot of money for you. It's really worth it. So, and also, for example, you run a small company, okay? And you have the implementation. If somebody finds out that you are using somebody's idea of patents, then you will be sued. It will be a lawsuit for you. So there are two things. One, to make money. Second thing is protect yourself. Otherwise, if, for example, I take your idea, if I implemented it, if you know this, okay, then you come and sue me. I have to give that back, whatever money you want.
That's great. That's great. So any best practices? So if I am a new inventor, tell me what you have gone through, your trials and errors, so that I don't go through that as well. What are your best practices?
So my best practices, if there is a problem, I always think, I don't know, it's a good thing or a bad thing. Even when I was running in my treadmill, going for my bicycle, I will think about the problem again and again. How do I solve this problem? Can I solve this way? Can I solve that way? If I solve this way, what is the benefit? I go with like a white paper. Like you want to put it on. Okay, this is the problem statement. I can solve this way. What is the pros and cons? I can solve this way. What's the pros and cons? So these things, it's not going to come if you're thinking right away, right? You have to give some time, invest on that idea, and always think about the problem. When you're eating your dinner, just think about it. When you're walking, just think about it. That's the time you'll get a brilliant idea. Hey, I can solve that way. That's going to be the best idea. And I applied so many of them in my company. Okay, they will review it and they will say, hey, Kumar, this one is already there. so we are not going to move forward for applying that. So those are things you have to do. It's really like, if the people are watching, you're already working for the big companies, I will bet you a quarter they really wanted to get this patent. Okay, so just talk to your legal, like, your people in your company. They will definitely say, yes, let's apply for it. This for the people who work in the company. Somebody is there, okay, and they're working for their own company. Just try to see what problem you're trying to solve and put that extra effort. As I mentioned, like, Zelle payment and Uber, it's a very, very simple idea. Sometimes I do feel like a dump. Right? I should have done that, but unfortunately I can't, because my company, the company I work, so all the patent belongs to them. So you have to think. So, and also the one good advice is for people, like when you work for the company, okay, there is a legal that's saying that if you even anything, I cannot apply a patent in technical side, whatever I'm working on my side, right? Because the company, I sign a contract with my company that those things is going to be belongs to my company. Okay, so I cannot go apply a patent outside and get that. No, it's not going to work because I signed the contract. So that's another advice. So don't go just apply your own. Just check with your company, like, they have a policy that, hey, if you apply again related to your job roles, then they will say, hey, that belongs to the company. So that's one of good advice.
Have you ever had like a big mistake or a downtime or a challenge throughout this process of the 21 that you've applied for?
I don't have any experience on that. Again, I always go back and enhance it. For example, we have the lawyer, I told you, right? I'll go with an idea. Okay. The lawyer will ask me a question. Okay, how did this will work? How did that will work? I get in some questions. So people has to ask questions. Now I'll say, okay, I will solve that problem this way. Okay, what happened to that? How is going to work that? I say, yes, you take a lot of input. Make it your pattern is bulletproof. Think about all the ideas you can do, right? As I mentioned, it doesn't mean that whatever you're patterning is 100% working. It's not true. As long as you have a concept, some proof of concept, like, how all the system is going to work together, like, you have some theory, some small POC, that should be enough. It's not like I have to have everything working 100%. No, the patent office is not going to look at whether your product is working, what you're describing is true. No, they're not going to look at that.
Oh, okay. So just proof of concept.
Yeah,
even if you haven't really developed it 100%, as long as you already have this concept and you know that it works, but you actually haven't developed the actual product,
right,
you can already start applying for it.
Correct, right? Because you don't want somebody to steal that ideas, right?
Oh, okay. Well, for me, that's an aha moment. Like, oh, I didn't know that. So that is something new that I've learned today. That is really gonna be stuck with me. Is as soon as you have that idea, prove that it works, have a proof of concept, and you can already start applying for a patent.
Right.
I see.
I'll give an example.
Okay.
Again, if you go to my LinkedIn, there is something called JDK upgrade. For example, if you go developers, they know now you have to upgrade your Java software or any framework now you're using for development. It has to be upgraded, right? Every 2 years is duplicates, new upgrade. So what we came up with the idea was that, I don't want to go manually upgrade it. I have a machine learning model, it knows exactly what components are getting changing. I have a tool, automatically look to your source code, it upgrades it automatically. That's the idea we had. I didn't have a 100% working. That's a concept. Now we went to the patent team. They said, yeah, let's go apply for it. And it's approved. Now that product is working, right? When I applied 3 years ago, right? It is not 100% working. The patent office did not ask me, and okay, show me how it works. No.
I think a lot of people will really like this part. Like it will resonate with them because they know that, oh, yeah, I do have that idea, but I don't have enough resource to actually develop the product, but I do have that concept in my mind and didn't know that just that concept can be patented.
Yes. Concept and, the system integration, as long as you know how the flow is going to work, how one system is going to talk to other system, that should get you started.
It's amazing. amazing. That's amazing. Anything else that you would like to share with us?
So only thing I will try to share with people is two things. As I mentioned, if Kumar can do it, anybody can do it. I have that tell everybody all the time. And a lot of people like me, right? I was a last being student. As I mentioned, uh, you have to work hard. Just don't give up. A lot of people coming and say you cannot do it. You cannot do it. Okay. For me, one thing motivates me. If somebody say that I'm trying something, if they say okay, it's not going to work, you cannot do it. For me, that motivates me more. Even a lot of my friends, dear friends, say, hey, what? You can't do that. Hey, it's not going to work. That motivates me, and just try it hard. Never give up. One of the person gave me advice is like, when you start working out, like, immediately, you're not going to be like a bodybuilder. First day you will be doing this, second day you will be do that, third day it's to be slowly it's going to go through. But after 2 months, 3 months, if you look at it where you are, you will see a lot of difference. You cannot just do 1 day, 2 days and say, okay, where is it? It's not going to work out that way. So in my biggest advice for people is never give up. People can pull you down. All you have to do is prove them wrong. For me, whenever I prove somebody's wrong, that makes me happy. And I want people to pull me down because that motivates me more. That's how I get motivated. Never give up. Always think.
Thank you so much for sharing with us the wisdom, sharing with us your story, your journey. Thank you for sharing with us this amazing, process of this. How do you create a patent? How do you get your ideas patented? And it's a true story for you from, like you said, a last bench. I didn't know about that. To now you have 10 patents approved, 11 pending, and you have this title of prolific inventor. And I know that not everyone has that. That is a very prestigious title. Thank you for your time. And I hope that we can get together again sometime soon and talk more about the other things in your life, because it's so colorful and I'm always totally enjoy engaging and hearing about your stories.
Thank you so much. I know you are doing so many things for the people. I really appreciate it. I know I saw your broadcast helping other people coming out of the country, particularly Asian people. You helped me a lot in at the work site. Thank you for doing changes on somebody else's life. I know you get emotional. You are a good person. I put this way. You are one of the good person I ever met in my life.
Aw, thank you. That's a stretch. That's a stretch. But I will just say thank you for now. That's very flattering. We've known each other now for many years, at least 6 years, if not
More
maybe
than that.
7. Yeah. So, and I've always enjoyed your company and I've always enjoyed your stories. And this is not going to be last. We're going to have another podcast. So people who are watching, stay tuned. And if you haven't seen the previous podcast when Kumar was talking about his journey from India to the US, you should look for the link. I think you have it also in your LinkedIn, because I have it on my LinkedIn too.
Right.
So they can look for that one, because that one was also an interesting story. So until next, we'll see you on the next podcast with Kumar.
Thank you so much. Bye.